What would happen to your loved ones if something were to happen to you? The topic is a tough one, but starting the conversation on a solid estate plan can be easier, especially with some help from the team at Park Ziegler. Joining us now to tell us more is Kellum T. Parks from Park Ziegler. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Carrie. Thanks for having me.
We actually talk about these issues a lot, and every single person that we've talked to, but an expert like yourself, says have these conversations when it's not an emergency and you're not under duress. And I guess if there's any kind of silver lining to staying at home and social distancing, is people are finding time to get to those things that they might not, including estate planning.
That's true. I mean, look, as you said, it's a topic nobody wants to think about. But it's something you definitely need to prepare for. Much like we get insurance in case we get in a car accident or in case our house has a fire. You know, unfortunately, everyone's going to pass away at some point, and it's really important to take care of your families, which is what we really focus on here at the firm, is to meet with people and see exactly what they need. They might only need a will, but a lot of times they need something more. They might need a trust because they want to avoid probate, or they need to determine who gets their money when.
Yeah.
It can be complicated, and so really we want to simplify and help people along as best as possible.
Well, and you have simplified it because you've come up with a guide, 7 steps to a complete estate plan, and I was surprised to hear just 7 steps.
Well, it gives you an overview. It's basically what we tried to do is Karen West, who is our lead wills, trust, and estates attorney here at the firm, she and the firm, and we've gotten together and tried to condense down. She's been doing this for over 18 years, and so she's seen sort of the whole gamut of the very easy and the very difficult, the unexpected, and we've tried to boil it down to 7 essential things that everyone needs to think about before you meet with us or any attorney to really determine the best way forward to take care of your family.
Yeah. And every family is different, and as you said, there are different considerations. I am not at all the person that I was at 10 years old or 20, thank goodness. So if folks are, I know one of the leading concerns folks have is if I, pass away relatively young and my children are still relatively young, will they have the decision-making power? They want to make sure they're not going through money that they're going to need later in life. So how do you help people figure out what their main concerns are and then put those things in place?
Of course, and so what we do is we sit down with them. Of course, they have to take an inventory of what they have and what they want to give. But much more importantly than that, we sit down and talk about what their goals are. For instance, do they have children? One of the things that you can do in an estate plan is determine, should you pass away and you have children that do not have one of their parents left, basically what we can do is you can put a guardian in your documents, and that can start that process. Mm-hmm. So it's really all about what the client needs. They might need something, again, simple, or they might not. You don't know what you don't know. There's not everyone's an attorney, and more importantly, not everybody's a wills and a trust and estates attorney. So we really try to get to the bottom of it. And something you said, Carrie, which I think is important, is what happens if you have children and you pass away and they're in their 20s or even in their teens? Do you really want to leave them all of your money and they might blow through it because, as you said, you're young and you don't know what you don't know? Mm-hmm. But a trust, for instance, is another vehicle in which you can set an age limit or dole out a certain amount of money in a certain period of time. And something else that other people don't think about is you want to make sure that your money is left to your family. What happens if one of your children marries somebody? Maybe it's not the best marriage. Do you want all of your family's assets perhaps going to that spouse in a case of a divorce or in other circumstances?
Mm-hmm. Right. And these are the conversations that are never going to be easy, but they just don't have to be so hard, especially if you take care of this stuff now before there is some kind of crisis and decisions are made under duress. As we've talked about, every family is different. Everybody's concerns are going to be different. However, all of us would like to avoid unnecessary costs and taxes. And I know that you are very conscious of that when you work for folks, too.
Oh, absolutely. So, fees obviously are something that vary, but basically most wills and trusts are on a flat fee basis. And again, it's one of those things that we sit down with our clients and say, okay, what do you need? We certainly don't want you to get something more than you need, but we want to make sure that you're taken care of. So we walk through that process. We're also very creative in the way that we do things. So our firm happens to be a cloud-based paperless law office, which we've been since we founded in 2012, which has really helped in this unfortunate time of COVID-19. Just recently, we had a tent out in the parking lot where we could have clients come by, and we came out gloved up under the CDC protocols to meet with clients with one-use pens. And now that we're phase one, we've actually not done the tent anymore, but we still could come to you, come out to your car. So basically, our process, like I said, is to care the families, and that starts from the very beginning to planning all the way to we do yearly checkups. Because what happens if you get remarried? What happens if you get divorced? What happens if things change?
Yeah.
You need to constantly fine-tune your estate, and that's something that we do as a standard for all of our clients.
All right. Well, thank you, Callum, so much for making time for us today to remind us of these important issues that we really should get buttoned up, and to encourage us that it's not going to be as painful as you might think if you start now and get the right advice. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, Carrie, and I just encourage everyone to go to our website, pzlaw.com, and get the free guide.
All right, Park Ziegler Attorneys at Law, they're in Virginia Beach. You can call 757-453-7744 or visit pzlaw.com.